What's up, and welcome to another episode of Black in the Maritimes. I'm Fidel,
I'm Hillary.
I'm Marcus.
I'm Clinton.
and today is our last show of the year. We decided to do one last show and just take a little break to organize some things and spend time with the family and holidays. So I think that is a good thing to do. But before we do that, we have to get back to, hey, racism, amazing. Okay.
The topic that never ends.
That shit never ends to us. And
What do we call it, Fidel? The same old bullshit.
yeah, same old bullshit.
Same old bullshit.
Same old bullshit. Well, what it is, what it is. But I guess we're gonna put local racism because we're from New Brunswick and we live in New Brunswick, so we're gonna call it a local one. Now there was a motion from the government to amend for calling an inquiry into systemic racism in New Brunswick. So pretty much what they're saying, we don't want to talk about this shit anymore. So an opposition motion calling for an inquiry into systemic racism in New Brunswick was gutted by the government on Thursday afternoon. Now, this was on December 10th, to be quite exact. So this was on December 10th. The motion moved by the Liberal MLA Lisa Harris called on the government to call an inquiry into systemic racism, into justice and policing in New Brunswick. And, since Blaine Higgs has some assurance, he said, no, we're going to shut this down. So what's your take on it? Let's go with Hillary first.
Well, what's dumb as shit about all of this is that, he didn't just shut it down. What they then decided to do was amend the inquiry, which is basically saying we're acknowledging that we're racist, but we don't want to do any of the steps to actually put an inquiry in it, to investigate it, to put anything like pen to paper to actually say how the New Brunswick government is systematically racist. So they're basically just trying to put the crappiest Band-Aid ever on it and being like, yeah, you're right. And we're going to do nothing about it as always. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to look into any proof as to how we are racist. And it's just complete bullshit. But are we surprised? No. It's the same old bullshit. Same old bullshit.
Same old bullshit.
What about you, Clinton? What do you think about it?
I'm surprised that he's not willing to just dish out a little bit of money to just do the damn thing. To do the inquiry into racism and systemic racism and police forcing and job opportunities and stuff like that to prove that it's there so they could start to take steps towards doing it. It wouldn't cost that much compared to what government spending is, and the people that live here have been asking for it forever. And at the same time, I keep being unable to wrap my head around the fact that New Brunswick's working so hard to bring people of color here, yet ignoring the people of color here that are saying, hey, things can be really bad for us here, can you please help?
Well, he got voted in again, you know what I mean? Why would you inquire into something that could lead to him not making it in? You know what I mean? He managed to basically force an election in the middle of the pandemic, won it. Why would he do anything to try to rectify any situation that might cause him?
Gangster. That's what he is. He just doesn't.
One of Irving's multiple old men puppets.
Big man gangster.
Badman Higgs. Badman Higgs.
Badman Higgs, the big man gangster. No, and everybody. Listen.
Okay, Marcus, what's your take on it?
Listen, man. If you don't think racism is a problem, it's crazy. So what I've learned about the Higgs government over the last 2 years, because I've really been paying attention the last 2 years, this man is fucking lazy. If you don't have a goddamn, I'm pretty confident if they walked up to that podium and was like, this is what you need to do for your inquiry. You need to hire 15 employees. You need to have them go walk up and down these 5 streets, talk to these families, do this, do that, do this, do that, and then they'd probably approve it. They need pinpoint direction of what to do. If not, they're just going to deflect, ignore it. We're focused on the pandemic. We're focused on this vaccine distribution. That's what we're focused on right now.
Yep.
I'll be honest with you. If you
I'm tired
listen,
of it, man. I'm tired of it because I remember when the Black Lives Matter rally happened, this man was willing to meet then, and now all of a sudden, because it's the indigenous community, you don't want to talk to them. That's a little suspect to me.
It's also not relevant anymore, so why would he?
That too.
I'll tell you this. If you've been listening to this podcast, we said that Higgs was a power grab, and as soon as he grabbed power, he's gonna do whatever the hell he wants.
Yep.
And that's exactly what he's doing.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Like we said this before, we knew that this was gonna happen. He was gonna be like, "Well, I don't want to do it. I don't give a fuck. I got a majority. I don't need to do it." So I'll be honest with you. With this type of government that we have after the pandemic, it's going to be quite interesting. What is he going to do and the pressure that he's going to get? Because we liked Higgs because he took early measures and he was lucky because of the pandemic, and that's why he got reelected. However, what happens when that is out of people's minds?
Yeah, because he's also like alienating the like he's dodging the conversation about the abortion clinics as well too.
Okay, and also,
Well,
so
he's not just dodging the
He's
conversation.
flat out telling them, "Do you take me to court if you want to fight my stance on it?"
But from
Yeah.
my understanding, the government of New Brunswick also managed to find, I didn't read all of it, so I'm not the most educated on this. Let me say that as a precursor. But from my understanding, they got conservative women members of parliament to be the one to hold the discussion. And all of the women said that they were against abortion. And everyone thinks that this is the dumbest thing because they just they basically found women who agreed with it to make it seem like women are for the anti-abortion, for the closing of the Montgrenier clinic,
Well,
the 506 clinic, and all of this stuff, when that's not the case at all, and they're just straight up taking rights. But no one was down. I don't think people of color were down for Blaine Higgs at the beginning. The queers certainly weren't. The French weren't, because then he
the
took
young
away
kids
the
weren't.
Acadian Festival. No one was, but the whites in power. And then he did one good thing during the pandemic, which was make sure that there weren't an influx of cases. And then he got reelected. He was garbage from the start. He
He
was a
did his
bigot
job.
from the start. He barely did his job. I'm mad.
well, I
Well,
have
I
some
just don't.
information that I got recently that the president of the New Brunswick Multicultural Council has written a bill to try to get permanent residents to be able to vote in future elections. So, like, if he
That
gets
should go through.
if that gets passed, yeah. So Higgs does have to cater to multicultural society, especially as we continue to grow. It's going to become more and more important. If you're looking at this from a point of view where he doesn't care about racism and he knows it's there, he doesn't care. Fine, but eventually, even from a political side, he's going to have to do it because I think it'll be in his best interest.
I'm gonna call this right now. That shit is not going to pass. That is going nowhere.
But
There's no way that all of these old white men are gonna say, "Let at least Negroes and brown people get a right to vote." That shit's
Facts.
not gonna happen.
Facts.
even if it
Not gonna
doesn't get
happen.
that's hilarious. Even if it doesn't get passed in the first attempt, if it exists and people keep fighting for it, it can eventually.
No,
Look,
that's so
It's
true.
good that it
There,
exists.
we are not letting these niggas and these foreigners, these Mexicans,
we're not letting these.
I
these
don't-
these people from overseas in the pond. Nah, son, we're not doing it. No,
I don't
Look,
know if you
no.
saw,
Fam, they're
but
not. Fidel, you're right. They're not going to do that. They're going to lose.
They're not going to.
Man, they're going to loot. Man, what are the protests going to look like there? Oh,
I don't know if you guys saw, but immigration's actually down for the country because of COVID by 27,000.
because people
And
can't
because
travel.
of the amount of deaths that we've had, we're actually on par with population. Our population has not gone up this year. So that's also not good for
That's
small
false.
white places.
That's false.
Been shrinking
That's
for the
not
past
false.
20
That's
years to
that's
begin
false.
with in New Brunswick. The
I
population's
know
been
for a
shrinking the past
fact that a
20
child
years.
was born in 2020.
But I'm saying that so many people died, our number didn't influx. There were as many births as there were deaths because
Yeah.
of COVID. They said it on CTV this weekend. We're almost par for the
Jesus.
course based on births and deaths this year. So it's not good for places like New Brunswick where you lose I don't know, all the precious boomers that they need to vote, but you're not bringing in any immigrants or anyone of interest. So
Because
you
no one
just
wants
have
to live here. Everyone just wants to dip.
the same shitty white people voting for the same shit.
Well, it's good that our guest from last week, the New Brunswick Multicultural Council, was signing. It's good that they have a survey at least, so someone's collecting
Yeah.
data and statistics to try to look into
Thank
it.
God.
I mean, from the government perspective, they have inside access to the police force. They can actually know every occurrence that happened, and they can really do it on a systemic level.
Fam, you could get a police intern on a goddamn laptop. You give him you tell him, you give him a deadline. You're here Monday. I want the report Friday morning, my desk. And you have the end of the day Friday to bring me a report, and I want I want the data separated between age groups and racial demographic, and that's what you should be having for the board too. That makes no sense to me that you have a bunch of conservative women. Like, you need to have every single woman of age demographic represented.
Well, the abortion
To have a
conversation should have
true
been between both parties, I believe, and not just conservative white women who think abortions mean you're killing babies. But again, I don't know all of the facts, but from what I've read, that's what it sounded like, and that's not a good conversation. That's not a conducive conversation to anything.
Fidel, chime in. What do you think?
Again,
Watching Netflix.
I will say this. Again, I will say this. There's no way that these people are going to be like, let's get all these Hindu people that just came here from Brampton, Ontario to New Brunswick because it's cheap to let you vote. That is not happening. They are not. Let me just put this in effect. We in Atlantic Canada have still to this day recognize systemic racism to the police. Like, he's not even getting a meeting on that. Like, something as simple as saying, yeah, this has been a racist province and we have a problem, which is in history books, in documentaries, in anything you can find. This is a fact. This is not a lie. And New Brunswick hasn't even done that. You think he's going to let people that are not from here vote easily? No fucking way.
A lot of non-immigrants and residents of New Brunswick want landed permanent residents to be able to vote as well.
Fam, if man, it's because he knows he's gonna get voted the fuck out.
Not even that. It's just that the fact that
proper pressure. Yeah.
No.
Sorry, go ahead.
The problem is like, we have to understand how this province, New Brunswick, works. I can't tell you about Nova Scotia or PI. New Brunswick works this way. If it doesn't affect the Irvings, if it doesn't affect the McCains, if it doesn't affect old white men, shit is good. If it affects those three pieces, there's a problem. If it affects people with money here, there's a problem. If it affects realtors or people that earn a lot of money and they give a lot of money to the campaigns and they give a lot of money to the counselors, there is going to be a problem. For God's sakes, St. John is one of the cities that has the highest tax in property in New Brunswick. And the reason is because instead of they're taxing the companies such as Irving, they rather tax the people. So that's why people move to Quispamsis. That's why people move to outside, because it's so expensive and not livable to go to St. John, to the city, because instead of taxing the higher people, they rather tax the little poor people. So that's insane. That's unheard of. But when I mean they, I mean the government, whether it's liberal or conservative, doesn't really matter who it is, as long as it doesn't affect the people that they call job creators, they don't care. They just don't care. That's the reality of New Brunswick. New Brunswick needs immigration. They need it, but they're thinking, oh, it's cheap to live here. It's a family place. That's enough. But they're not gonna give power to minorities. They don't want to get, like, everybody that has power here is old, men, and white.
Yep.
Like, it only took 100 years to be a female mayor in Moncton. Just 100 years. Like that is the reality in this province. Again, it's going to change. It has to change, because if it doesn't, then this is going nowhere. So it's going to change. But right now in 2020, that is the reality, and we have to make the best of it. But I think that people need to be aware that that's the status of the province. That is the current status of the province. So we are going to move on to another amazing topic: right-wing extremists. Shout out to all the white people that comment especially all the white men that comment in every advertising that we do. Every time we do an advertising, there's a bunch of racist white men just commenting.
I love it, man.
Like, you Marx, like the first thing that they say is like, you Marxist, whatever, Black Lives Matter, and we're like, what, dude? Like,
dog, we've been here before Black Lives Matter. We'll be here after Black Lives Matter.
Like, we're a podcast, bro. Like,
we're not
only on the link before you send us the hate mail.
Not only, yeah, give us them views.
Sorry, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
But first of all, I don't think those guys know what a Marxist is, first of all. Yeah. And second of all, we've been here like for 4 years, way before this Black Lives Matter, way before everything. But anyways, shout out to all the racist white people. Anyways, there was a study from UNB saying that the right-wing extremist is rising in Atlantic Canada. Researchers at the University of New Brunswick found an alarming recent spike in right-wing extremists, and the data indicates the activity is increasing. The extremist activity surged in Atlantic Canada in 2016 and then climbed higher each consecutive year. UNB sociologist David Hoffman says that his research team studied far-right activity in the region between 2000 and 2019 as a part of a project by Barbara Perry, the director of the Center of Hate and Bias and Extremism in the university at the Ontario Tech University. They found 29 right-wing extremist groups active in the region, such as the Northern Guard, described as an American-style militia.
Hang on. There's how many?
29.
29 groups.
Holy shit.
I was pretty damn surprised.
There's the Northern Guard, which is an anti-hate Muslim group, and they came around half a dozen or more. So, I mean, this shit is wild. I'm not surprised. Have you? And I'm gonna start with this question. Have anybody of you watched the Rebel Media ever?
Yep.
Okay.
Clarify what it is.
Okay, the Rebel Media is an far right media channel, digital media channel, go by a guy that founded it called Ezra Labant, which he was a co-host of Sun News. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Sun News, which was like the Fox News of Canada that failed. So he did this YouTube channel, and this is like wild far right media rhetoric, and it has like 1 million followers, and it's Canadian. And it's crazy what you see there. Again, it's something that I myself don't like to talk about it, because the stuff that's in there is super radicalized. That they're so radical that the conservative no political party in Canada wants to touch them. That's how bad it is. So, anyways, what do you guys think about it, Hillary?
I think that, well, I was reminded of the saying in French, "Ce qui se ressemble, se rassemble," those who look alike group together. And I just think that when you have a government that straight up won't denounce racism, when they literally won't persecute men who throw eggs at rallies, when like the whole thing of New Brunswick is run by rich white men, like, I'm very much not surprised that these groups exist. I've been aware of some of them for, it feels like, the entirety of my life. And I'm not shocked at all. I think we've all experienced racism firsthand in New Brunswick. I was called the N-word when I worked at a bar like less than 4 years ago. Like, this isn't shocking to me. I think that it's just like the most thing I would be surprised about is if any of the members in the group are young, because I thought no young people lived in New Brunswick, but this isn't shocking. And obviously they're going to find each other and group together and hate us for no reason.
Clinton.
Look,
Go ahead, Marcus.
look, you can hate us, but at the end of the day, all these dudes are listening to black music, eating black food, following black women on OnlyFans, probably watching black women porn. I'm sick and tired of this shit. I am. I'm sick. It's true. I'm fucking sick and tired of it. This shit's ridiculous. Like,
Stop watching black porn.
well,
No,
not
don't.
stop watching black porn. Keep funding
And
our
hating on
sisters.
us.
Keep funding our sisters and keep funding our youth. Like, it just blows my mind. It doesn't make it makes sense because of where we are, but it doesn't make sense in 2020.
Dude, a pandemic doesn't make sense, but it's here and it's real.
It just at the end of the day, all of this just blows me away. I'm still blown away by it. I'm just like, what do you mean? What do you mean there's 29 fucking active groups here? What the fuck is that shit? Are you serious?
But how many people are in like I'd like to know how many people are in a group. Like, are these people
It's like 2 dudes in it.
are these people just announcing that they're a group and they're circle jerking about hating blacks? Like, what do you mean? Define group. Is it a group? Like, is 4 or more a group? Because, like, what if they're the same people in multiple groups?
And were they
I want lists.
And were they counting Trump supporters? Because I know Trump supporters that we have the debate all the time that they're not racist. We have the debate all the
They're
time.
racist.
I know. I tell them all the time, and I give them points, and we quote, and then they Google, and then they see that I'm right, and then we laugh about it, and then I bring it up again, and then they laugh again about it. Oh man, you're crazy. You know I'm not racist. I'm right here. That's crazy. Right? Like, come on, man. Stop it.
Well, I guess it depends on how much you trust the University of New Brunswick in doing good research.
Well,
'Cause they're the ones that did the study, and those are good questions, Hillary.
well, now,
Yeah, like, how do you? Where's my phone? I wanted to research. I would like more information.
Probably a lot of
UNB.
papers of documents on it.
now what?
But I
what
have some
university did it?
statistics here.
But what
UNB.
university did it?
The University of
UNB.
New Brunswick. So they've been.
Okay,
I'm going to
okay,
talk a bit more about
Okay, hang
the
on.
study.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on. There's UNBSJ. That's
I don't-
university.
I don't know
It was
which one.
Fredericton.
Okay.
I thought you said Fredericton, but
Was it UNB
Yeah,
Fredericton?
it is Fredericton because that's
Yeah.
that's what their research. is.
listen with your podcast listening ears. UNB Fredericton.
So the study lasted 19 years, and they logged 156 incidents over those 19 years. And this could be rallies, acts of violence and hate, marches, and a number of other like things that are more than just like
and man,
calling
like,
someone a nigger. And so since 2016, there was a huge increase, and in fact, 60% of those incidents occurred in the past 14 years, and they've been
Now-
researching it the past 19 years. So
now if they've been researching it for the last 19 years, is
hold
that
on, and
not?
most of it, and it's not really Atlantic Canada. Most of it is just New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. 40% of the incidents were in Nova Scotia. 47% were in. 47 were in Nova Scotia, 41 in New Brunswick. PEI had like 5%. Newfoundland had
They
like
should have
6%.
gotten black people to call in with their racist like incidences to jack up the numbers because I alone could probably vouch for 20 of the 156 they're talking about. Like, you've documented 156, but let us document them
Now-
for you and
but-
then count the influx.
That
Right.
could be a show right there. Yeah.
And you need to and you
Let's
need
count the
to
racism.
and you need to include the population of biracial parents as well that are dealing with this too, because they're dealing with a whole other. They're
Yeah.
dealing with the same. They're dealing with the same.
I don't think they define
From both
acts of
ends.
hate as just like random ignorance and racism in or something like that, or like a bar fight. I think it's more like organized, actual, conscious groups getting together, whether it's 2 people or 100 people.
Dog, I don't remember. Like,
organize hate.
I literally don't remember. Like, even when the Proud Boys were marching in the States, I don't remember any of that happening here. Did that happen here?
Yeah, it did.
Fidel, what's your take?
You're
What's your
like,
take on it? Fidel, what do you think?
Well,
Wait,
Oh,
what? No,
okay,
well,
hold on.
hang on. There was a Proud Boy incident here?
yes.
Well, I know that
Nova
there are
Scotia,
Proud
right?
Boys.
No, there was
And
one in
then-
New Brunswick too.
Oh,
Was it in Fredericton?
I think there was one in Fredericton and one in St. John, but in St. John they got them the fuck out of there like real quick. They were like, nope. And in Moncton they wanted to do a rally, and they said, you know what the funny thing is, and I'm gonna say shout out to Black in the Maritimes. they were thinking about doing a rally here, right, in Moncton. And me and Marcus went that same day to CBC Radio.
Oh yeah.
And we said, City Hall has the power to shut this shit down. Like an hour later, Don Arnold added me to my Facebook, and they shut that shit down so quickly. Shout out to that. That happened.
Good job, guys.
I remember exactly when that happened.
And I know here, if they were doing that kind of shit, I know Don Darlin would have called them right out. He's probably the most active mayor I've ever seen on social media in New Brunswick, period. Like, our mayor is consistently on there, and he's answering people left, right, and center. Twitter, answering them left, right, and center. You're asking him bullshit questions. He's giving you fucking straight-laced answers. Straight up. He's not giving a fuck. I love it. Well,
Don Arnold is pretty good too. I mean,
I love that. I love that kind of. He's doing what a public official should be doing. He's holding himself accountable to the people that pretty much gave him his seat. It's very much like I view it as the band, like my band, like Sonic Detour. I very much view it as that. Like, we're in the comment section reading, and like when we start putting out more content in 2021, when people start commenting on these songs and shit, we're going to be taking that and we're going to be working with that. Like, you have to, because shit, man, we've been number 10 for like 4 weeks in this fucking chart over in Nova Scotia, which is crazy. And it's because of the people. Like, even with the podcast, like, we hold ourselves accountable because of our fan base, like, because we know that we'd be nothing without them, and he sees that too, and I love seeing that. But you're never going to see Higgs do that. I feel like it's because he's too old. But I know you got an intern.
He doesn't know what a Twitter is.
I know you got an intern. Jennifer Russell's fucking tweeting. She's live streaming. Hire her, man. Put her on the payroll for your fucking social media, bud.
I think that the thing,
it.
like, I will say this: Dawn Arnold, which is the mayor of Moncton, she does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I do got it. Wait. Again, we can all agree to disagree. I said she does a pretty good job. She's not the St. John mayor for like he's in another level of like activism. I will say that because like there was a racist party, and he was the first one to show up in the province to get them the hell out of there. Like he didn't even talk to them. He just went to them and said, "No, this is not happening." He was like, yeah, he is definitely he's not running anymore. He's not running for mayor anymore, but I think he's a pretty good mayor.
Yeah.
Our mayor, Dawn Arnold, let's just face it, she does pretty good things. I think the problem is that I think she is a woman, and she gets a lot of flack just for being a woman. Like, if you look at the comments that she gets, it's like some comments are like, what the hell? But I will say they're
right misogynistic for no reason.
Well,
Like,
Now, as a
I
woman
think
who
it's-
doesn't like her,
y'all have mothers, and you talk to another woman like that. That's what blows me away. That's what
I
blows
don't think
me
though
away,
that
man.
saying that, like, you know, that because there are comments of people that don't like her because she's a woman, that most of like a lot of the criticism about her is because she's a woman.
Well, no. Well, one of the things that the difference between the Moncton Council and the St. John Council is that the St. John Council is like it's like a whole. There's nothing you could do because the Irving just screwed up the whole city. The Moncton Council is a little bit is very dysfunctional. If you ever go to a council meeting in Moncton, it's ridiculous. How
yes, it is.
It's a very dysfunctional council. So you can't just blame it on her.
Yeah.
If you go to the council, you'll see what we're talking about. That it's like, what is going on here?
Yo, I got a question, real quick. How did she get that goddamn? Was it her that got the new stadium passed? Like, how did that happen?
Oh, you mean the CAC? The CAC.
How did that happen?
That wasn't her though. That was the previous mayor and the previous councillor, and it still was a fight. It was a really big fight.
But how did that happen when you have?
It's also friends and connections and
construction
companies that want big jobs.
There was a lot of.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's not all like Wonderland.
And then you got a pandemic
government over there, man.
I was just gonna say that.
You got a pandemic that shut
that's all
that
I'm
fucking fucked all that money right up.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, definitely the difference between the councils is a little bit it's a little bit off. I think one of the most functional city halls is the Miramichi one. They're kind of functional, but Moncton City Hall is, oh god, it's like a soap opera in a box.
Everyone's trying to be
Been
Donald
there.
Trump.
How many hate groups are here in Oh my gosh, I got a Joe Biden on me. How many hate groups? I knew that was gonna happen. We got these farm flies, man. These farm flies. I heard it buzzing
That's
around.
that's life in Dorchester for you.
Hey, I'm bleeping that out, man.
Mm.
All right, I live in Dorchester. How many hate groups are there in Moncton? Does anyone know, or in New Brunswick?
I don't know, but there is. I seen two or three. I remember one, but a lot of them are. The funny thing, a lot of them are anti-Muslim. That there was one that I lived in Moncton. I lived right near a mosque, near Gordon Street, and
Yep.
there was a hate group for that mosque, and I remember that they
Yeah, I
reported
remember
it
that.
and they shut it down. So that was one that I saw. But again, I am not surprised because people people think that the world is like, if there's more for you, there's less for me. And when people are losing, when people are in a down thing, they think it's not because of them. They're not thinking, what can I do to be better? They're just thinking, this is a mistake and somebody's taking mine. They're not thinking, what can I do to be better? How can I improve? How can I be better? They're thinking there has to be an excuse. So they will look for that excuse. And a lot of men, especially white men, are thinking that foreigners, black people, Muslims, Hindus, Asians, they think that they're taking from them, which is not. And we could see that in the fact that you remember when the pandemic started and Blaine Higgs suspended all foreign workers for coming on the farm, and he wanted people to come to work on the farm. Nobody went. Nobody went. He had to reverse it and get those foreign workers back. That tells you
And
that.
then the comment section went wild.
Well, but
Well,
those
not
same,
only that, how about the doctor?
well, that and a bunch of them. Not only that, it's like it's the same thing. People, it's easier to blame somebody. It's just easier to blame somebody for your problems. It will be hard if you blame it on yourself. So you have all these radical media. Like in the States, it's crazy. You see this like ON Media, Newsmax, and all of these
Man,
things
I
that are
have
radicalizing all these people, telling them that there's an enemy. There is an enemy. And it's easier when you find an enemy. Like, for example, it's easier when the enemy is Iraq or the enemy is China or the enemy. But when you realize that the enemy is right in your bubble, that it's you, it's hard to fix that. So that's why people
dog.
do this hate group.
Dog, I have Newsmax. I watch Newsmax. I get fried and I just watch that shit some days, and it cracks me up. It cracks me up, man. They're on like a massive like voter fraud. So we should talk about the damage that this is going to cause. The amount of like the electoral college declared Joe Biden president, and they're still saying, "No, you cheated. No, there's voter fraud."
Yeah, you know
Nothing's
what?
gonna happen.
Yeah,
That's a problem. That's
but
a massive problem.
but you know what? We shouldn't talk about that. You know what? And I will say this: the reason why we shouldn't talk about that is because these people are demising themselves. And in Canada, as Canadians, we have the same problem. It's so easy to watch the other side because it's most dramatic than to look on the inside and say, hey, we have problems here too. There's racism here too. There's hate here too. There's political corruption here too. But it's just so easy to see it on the other side that we get so caught up on the other side that we forget that
Dog,
we have those problems here.
dog, let me tell you, we are going to see the exact same thing happen up here when we have a federal election. I almost guarantee if Trudeau wins again, we will.
I don't think he will.
It's impossible to be like that because the problem here is like it's MPs, right? So whatever happens
Oh yeah, that's right.
whatever
Yeah.
happens in Nova Scotia, that doesn't mean that's whatever happened because you're not electing Trudeau. You're
Yeah.
electing the MP of the party. So
Yeah.
it's almost impossible for you to declare a massive fraud because then you're saying that every MP was like it's not because it's the way the electoral college. So that's never going to happen in Canada because of the way the elections work. What is
Thank
going
God.
to happen in Canada, which this is going to happen, is that it's only a matter of time till we have our Donald Trump candidate.
You think?
Oh, it's only a matter of time.
Well, Andrew Scheer was close. He was pretty stupid. Like
What's
he
his face?
wasn't he's not as
No,
bad,
it
obviously.
was what's
but
his
like,
face from
Kevin O'Leary, no.
Yeah, it was Kevin O'Leary tried. Kevin
yes,
O'Leary
I remember.
Part
No.
of Donald Trump's allure, though, is that he's been in the spotlight for 40 years. He's been this celebrity playboy that like women adored back in the 80s and 90s.
So
When?
I said
And
that
what
before.
women?
So you know who it's going to be? It's going to be Ben Mulrooney, man.
Black people love them. Ben Mulrooney, it would have
It's
to
gonna
be
be
someone
Ben-
I
charming.
will
It's gonna be-
walk into the ocean and I won't come back. I can't swim.
There's no one
I
in Canada
will
that could fill
It'll
Do
be
you-
it'll be like a Ben Mulrooney,
hold
man.
the
Ben Mulrooney.
phone. Did
That
y'all
would be,
hear?
if anyone.
Look,
Did
Right?
y'all hear
Like,
about the drama?
There's no
about
Canadian
Jessica
people who
Mulrooney
are
being
celebrities
racist?
just because they're rich.
Wait,
Oh, sorry.
what?
Sorry, Hillary.
hold
Say that
on,
again?
hold on,
Wait,
hold
what?
on.
I'm googling this
Hold
right
on.
now.
I'm gonna say this. I'm thinking Wayne Gretzky is just gonna go crazy one day,
Oh,
and he's just gonna say,
You think
"Fuck
it's gonna
this
be Drake?
shit."
You think it's gonna be Drake? You think it's gonna be Drake?
No,
I'm
it's
voting
gonna,
for Drake. I'm voting for Drake.
it's gonna
Like,
be
he would be the worst. It would be like Kanye, but I'd do it.
it's
Or
gonna
Jim
be
Carrey?
it's gonna be a guy like Wayne Gretzky or Sidney Crosby that's gonna go crazy. It's gonna like, well, if he could do it, I'm gonna do it
Sidney
too.
Crosby, that would be hilarious. What if it's
See, if Jim
dude?
Carrey
What
wasn't
if,
such like a good guy, it could be him.
Yeah, Jim Carrey. No, not Jim
what
Carrey.
about what's his name? The one with all the jackets, the racist. Hockey.
But
Don Cherry?
Don-
What if Don Cherry did it?
Oh,
Fuck.
we forgot about Don Cherry.
No, Don Cherry's too old. It has to be somebody that has some type of appeal. But that's going to happen here. We're going to get, or either we're going to get a Donald Trump or we're going to get Donald Trumpists. We're going to get these people that are going to be MPs and they're going to be just batshit crazy. And that is
Well, we had the Ford.
I don't
We have the
know.
Ford. Well, we have the Fords, right?
we'll see. Who?
Doug Ford.
Yeah, and the People's Alliance, whatever.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
him.
That's what I'm
And,
saying. We have the People's Alliance, the Wexit Party in Alberta. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of. We have what's the other guy? The guy that was in the Conservative Party.
It's
What's
gonna
his-
it's gonna
for
be
Maxime Bernier.
Maxime Bernier.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we have them now. They just don't have enough power. But one of them is gonna get enough power to get in. And
girl
shit's
from
gonna go
Alberta.
crazy.
I
The
could
girl
have seen
from
that
Al-
happen if Donald Trump won again, but I mean they were in pretty small pockets all across the country, and without Donald Trump's influence,
the girl from the
can
girl
you
from
imagine
Alberta. There's an MP from Alberta that just is like just calling out people. It's hilarious. I love watching her.
I'm gonna say it's only a matter of time till we get one of those here, and it's gonna be a sad day. You know why it's gonna be a sad day? Because we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
We just knew it was coming, and we just like again in Atlantic Canada. What happens is that we have all of these people that live in butt shit nowhere that nobody cares about. They live in North End or
Restigouche.
Restigouche or Kuchibukwak or whatever the hell that shit is.
Kuchabagwag.
I don't know. Anyways, these
All you had to say was
these
Northern
people
New
that live
Brunswick.
in well, Clinton is living in Dorchester and he's feeling the remorse of like living in the middle of like I don't know.
Nowhere.
He's just like shit, man. The dial up. That's it. That's my
are
only
you
issue.
kidding? I love it here, man. You guys gotta come down, man. The scenery and views are beautiful. So
in
much
this-
land to just walk around in. I love it.
In the summer we will, but right now,
Yeah.
no, bro.
It's
We
too
can't-
cold.
It's too cold.
It's too cold for that shit.
We can't do that.
No,
We're black. We like
we don't fuck with the cold, man.
cold is
No.
cool. It's cool, but
It ain't that bad, man.
Man, I'm begging my boss to let me work from home in February. Like that's my goal. Let me produce money in February where I don't have to leave the house because it's
No,
too
but
goddamn
Amen.
cold.
it's just but anyways, again, I will say this, that the it's not a surprise that people are getting radicalized, especially, and I do have to give part here to the media, especially Canadian media just goes to the hot story. They go like from little story to little story, and they never emphasize on anything, and they rather go to the hottest story in the US than kind of come here and say the stories that matter to people. I think that's what's happening. Like, if you listen to CBC News, if you go to CTV News or Global,
Yeah.
you're not going to hear what's happening in different provinces around Canada, which is a lot of radicalism is happening, and that's not being addressed. I will say that is not being addressed in this country, and that's something that people need to think about. I think people need to make sure that people are suffering and we are not paying attention. We're not doing anything, and we'd rather look on the other side. We'd rather be Trump or what's happening in the UK or whatever than see what's happening home. Like, let's just be. We, for a minute, we had the Nova Scotian fishery thing.
Yep.
It was
Yep.
hot for a minute, but it's still happening.
Yep.
But
Yep.
and they just let it go. The media
Yep.
just let it go.
Yeah, I gotta Google that shit like every
Did
couple
you guys
days.
hear the news from like 3 days ago, though?
No.
Thanks.
Okay, reports of like, non-indigenous fishers out on boats cutting traps, and then the indigenous fishers driving up and firing gunshots at them.
Yeah, somebody
So
fired
for the
gunshots.
first time, a
Again.
shooting. So this is the first report of them like shooting on
Yeah,
the
there
water.
was a
Not
shooting.
the first report, but yeah, there was a
But the,
shooting. Someone got arrested.
Yeah, there was a shooting. And again, the media just let it go. They just
Yeah,
let that
one
go.
little blurb about it, pretty much.
And it's
Yeah.
still happening, and there's no change. So it's not going to be a surprise till those radicalized people just start getting bigger, because nobody's paying attention to them and nobody's saying this is what's happening. But we'll see. We'll keep targeting it because we have to do it. But in any case, we're going to change to our last topic, which is kind of a nice one. We're ending 2020, so
See
2020.
ya. Bye. Dunk that year.
It's like
Listen, man. Listen, man. I just gotta say, 2020 for me was pretty dope. Like the band, like we grew as a podcast. Hillary, we got you. Clinton, we got you. Like
We
we
got
got Al.
Alon.
Like we got Al. Like we like. Kudos to the MVP of fucking 2020, Fidel, down here in the corner. Like, shout out to you, man, for holding the team down and keeping us together and helping us expand. Because honestly, man, this is you, man. Like 2020, that's what you did.
I love you all, even if you all are light skinned and sensitive. So that's okay.
You but that's just it. Like 2020 for me was kind of dope, man. Like I got out the pawn shop, I got a good job, and my band's doing well, and my podcast is doing great, and we expanded, and we got a crazy good team. Like I couldn't be prouder.
What about you, Hillary? You hate 2020. What do
It
you?
was the best year of my life, though.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Oops. I like got out of about $30,000 of debt. I got sober. I started the job of my career. Sadly, because of the pandemic, the nursing home got Wi-Fi and got iPads so I could talk to my mom every month instead of having to fly to see her and spending a bunch of money to see her for only a week. So I got to see and make more memories with my mom this year than I have in the like last 6 years of her having. Am I gonna cry? The last 6 years of her having dementia, and now I hang out with you guys once a week. I have a platform for my blog. My modeling's been kick ass. I got a fat ass. 2020 was my bitch. I'm so happy.
and
The
didn't,
fat ass comment was that necessary, but sure, okay.
but
Hey, I'm proud of my body's growth because of its sobriety, because I was unhealthy before. And if I need to talk about my body to feel good, shut the fuck
All
up.
right,
Let me have a moment.
shut up,
oh yeah, and
shut up to that.
Thank you.
I got tattoos in 2020. That's one thing too that happened, and we're getting more, a lot more.
Same.
What about you, Clinton?
Oh man, I don't know. You kind of dropped this on us right before we did the first episode. I have not had time to really reflect on, my 2020 yet. So I don't know. I can't speak to that. But I'm here. I'm alive. I'm healthy. Kids are healthy. Just wish more Goodness
And
for
you've got
everyone.
that view that you're inviting us to go see.
Right.
Yeah, and it's an old farmhouse. It's 187-year-old Victorian farmhouse that
Did
is
y'all
still
stage the shit out of that?
hmm
Did you stage the shit out of that?
sage like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, 3 days
Isn't that a
straight.
Okay, good.
No, I didn't, but I kept like all the fans on for a few days because for
No,
weeks actually this guy had like cats that just stank.
no,
But
fam.
no,
You
it's
gotta
nice. It's in pretty good condition, and
stage
yeah, I'm
that
happy to
house,
have
man.
it.
It's a
So
hundred.
I think that if you sage with the actual stuff that indigenous people sage, it's technically appropriation. So like light a nice candle and say something, but don't actually sage.
there's some crazy shit about this house though. Like I'm in like an extension that I think like 100 or more years ago. There's a door back there that's sealed off now. It used to like go up to this like attic space, which was like either the maid chamber or I don't know if this house had slaves. That would probably be like the slave quarters. Like so it would come
This
down
guy,
here.
what?
Yeah, I'm just dropping this on you. End
Whoa,
of
hold up.
2020. But it could have just been made
What?
like back
Halloween
in those
episode.
little house on the prairie houses. Yeah,
Halloween
so they would come
episode,
into
we
they'd go
tried
past
to.
me here, go into the kitchen, they probably cook the meal for the family that lived through these doors, and then just go back up. There's a wood stove here against this old brick wall. They probably just go right back upstairs and stay in this like little, probably live in this attic space on the homeowner's property. So that's pretty crazy.
Yo, you gotta let me come there and record.
Yeah, you should.
I think that we should do a Halloween episode of the podcast with a Ouija board and try to summon the
We're not doing a Ouija
ancestral
board. We're not doing.
niggas
We're
who
not
were
doing.
slaves
We're not doing. Whoa, that was wow. That was bad.
and try to
Wow,
talk
Hillary.
to them. I'm just
Wow. Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow.
just take a turn. I'm so sorry. I
Full-blown
just think that would be a seance.
We're not having a seance, man. I'm not going. I'll do
Oh.
that shit virtual. I'll
For
sit in my living room.
2021,
Fuck that.
just more like, healthy
Yeah.
family and hopefully COVID goes away and or like get back to like a kind of normal life, spread
did
more
you
awareness
guys-
and stuff.
Did you guys see what the Jamaican Prime Minister said?
No, what did he say?
Oh my god, man. He was like, yo, you let all the big countries do that for us? You let Canada, the UK, France, America, and Canada, you let the big countries do it for us? Then maybe by 2020 we get the COVID vaccine, we see what happens.
Mhm.
Yeah? Yeah.
Oh my god.
Straight up, man. I'm gonna send it, man. I sent it to a bunch of people on the IG because I was dying laughing, man. I was dying, fam.
Yeah, send it.
I got it right here.
Send it.
I got it right here.
Well,
Oh my god.
Fidel, how was your 2020?
It was pretty good. I'll be honest with
Hang
you.
on.
When something new come out, you can't just run into it because you don't know what effects it might have on you. So we want the big countries, them like America and Canada and England. Go ahead and take the vaccine and let us see how it works for a little while before we rush into it. That's true. Yes, that's the safest thing to do. Yeah, so after that now, I would say yes, it's working. Everything good for those people. Then we can next year we
Everything,
can
Chris.
say, come our time now. We're ready to take it, eh?
Everything Chris, everything Irie, then we get the shot. Blood clot negative 70 degrees.
If that's not the realest shit I ever heard about Fidel, I think it broke Fidel, boy.
That was funny. No, I gotta say, 2020 was pretty good for me. I mean, I moved in with my girlfriend. I've been busy. Very, very busy. The podcast has been growing a lot. Shout out to the people who have donated. We're almost close to the goal. We're like $150 for the goal. I mean, we've been able to establish this great team, and I'm pretty proud for what we were doing here. So definitely, I think I have to be thankful for that. So myself, I expect, but let's just say, what do you guys expect, or what do you guys want for 2021 to happen?
I just want to be able to play a bunch of shows and do a festival circuit, or maybe go on tour with my band.
Hillary?
I want to be able to just see my mom. If I can just get into New Brunswick and not have to quarantine for what feels like 8 million years, that would be pretty sick.
Clinton?
I have to figure that out, man.
All right, you can tell us next in the next
In
year,
the new year.
in
All
the
right.
next year's episode. So, all right, we're gonna wrap it up on that note.
In 2021, I want to drive. I'm driving by the end of 2021. I'm driving.
Hold on. You don't know how to drive?
No,
I have a license and you don't know how to, sir?
no.
Okay. All right.
he's been saying that for 4 years.
I know.
Anyways,
Every like at the end of every year, like we'll check last year's
yeah.
podcast.
For the last 5 years, I've been hearing. I hearing the same thing. Anyways, so don't forget to subscribe to Black in the Maritimes. You can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere. Subscribe and rate us. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Black in the Maritimes. Thank you for all the donations. Thank you for every comment. Thank you for everything that you guys have been doing to us. And hopefully next year we'll keep coming back. We're coming back with more content and more things happening with the platform. So, guys, you have anything else to say?
Thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. We're gonna have more merch too.
Yes, true. That's
We got more merch coming.
I was gonna say also to check out the merch. So you telepathically stole my idea. I'm Cropberry on all of the social medias and all of the things, and my blog and my TikTok and all of the stuff. And also, I'm very excited to start making even more content and doing different things with Black in the Maritime. So keep your eyes peeled for that, like first week of January. I'm very pumped. Clinton.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the podcast. Thanks for following us and commenting, interacting, sharing posts, helping get awareness and spread the word out there. Merry Christmas to all of our listeners and a Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2021.
Oh, I forgot to say, follow my band Sonic Detour. We're everywhere. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
All right. Shout out to Alon, wherever the hell he is, because he couldn't.
Thanks, Al.
So, all right. Peace.
Check out Echo 7.
Happy New Year, Alon, wherever you are.
Check out Echo 7.